Hey, good morning and good afternoon or good evening from where you're watching from, and welcome to this latest episode of our TechTrends podcast. I love this podcast, quite interesting because I'm talking to fellows from the Legatum Center for Development and Entrepreneurship at MIT, and we are doing a podcast series just talking about what products they are building, because they're from different countries and each of them is building a different product for the different markets. So it's quite interesting. Of course, I love talking to startup founders to see what they're building and of course, their vision and every other thing they're working. So let's introduce yourself and tell us, who you are.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So, we are all a team of about 15 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are all founders of different businesses across the globe, like you rightly mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm from Nigeria. And then I know we have fellows from Egypt, we have fellows from South Africa, Zambia, Ivory Coast, So the agenda or the objective of bringing all of us together is to birth innovation within the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And also provide solutions and services that can impact, Africa as a whole. So really, whatever it is we're doing, we're not doing it just for the purpose of our own country.
Yeah.
We're trying to make sure that the impact is felt across the entire region.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in the mobile virtual network space business as a mobile virtual network operator.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, and I'm hoping to, cut across all the African countries as well. And for me, it's about providing digital penetration.
Yeah.
Right, across every nooks and crannies of Africa. I believe that we don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? The infrastructures are there.
Yeah.
So instead of putting a lot of funds behind the infrastructure that are there, to be a major competitor, you might as well leverage, and I think that's where the ecosystem is about, leverage and spread, and provide quality of service, provide services that anyone within village sector, rural, urban sector can say, yes, I can communicate, I can call anywhere I want to call within Africa and I'll be okay, So yeah, so that's my dream. And that's one of the reasons why I felt it's important, to go into the business of telecommunications in the first place. And I must say that Legatum, MIT Foundry, it's our first week, but it's been very fruitful, because we've been to several places here in Kenya that has kind of changed the orientation, and then it also tells you, whatever it is you're doing, you have to do it well and do it right, and there's timing for everything, so those are the things we are learning. We're asking questions as well with several organizations that we've met so far.
I know that you're asking questions because when I was reading about your profile, the idea of building a mobile virtual network really caught my eye, because we're just talking, offline, how, for example, in Kenya here, we only have one company that actually does that, which is actually Equity Bank with their own telco division, through what Equity is called. And why mobile virtual networks for you?
Thank you. So, you mentioned Equity Bank. I think they're doing a fantastic thing. But, as a bank, they will focus on their customer.
And their customer, because they have the customer base.
Exactly. So it makes it easy for them to say, credit, we want to give facility to this customer. We already have the customer's biodata. We have the customer's MSISDN, which is the mobile phone number. We can trace the customer to the last mile. So it's okay to give the facility to the customer. For an MVNO that is not in quote attached to any bank, it gives you room for widening your network. I, in particular, feel like the business of mobile virtual network is like an advanced version of telecommunication, right? I feel like telecommunication sector is, in a way, saturated. There's a lot to do. There's a lot with process, that would delay innovation within that space. What MVNO will do is birth innovation and birth it fast, because it's not building on what is, it's not building what shouldn't be built. It's rather building on what is existing. So for me, it's about leveraging, AI, leveraging artificial intelligence, like I said, infrastructure that is core, leveraging on BSS, and using that opportunity to widen reach across Africa. And also layering products and services that is needed So what will take, operators longer time to do, I will do it within a month, maximum 2 months. And I can birth it, I can test the market, I can take it out of the market and, retest again and see whether it fits the customer's needs.
All right. For most MVNOs, mostly they rely on infrastructure that is already built by existing telcos.
Yes.
So, of course, for your venture, you need to work with some of the telcos existing in Nigeria already. So when you talk to them, what are they telling you?
Good question. Very good question. So the idea of, you're coming to compete in our space is what I keep hearing. But that's not the case. Because, for instance, Nigeria, we're talking about it earlier, we have a population of about 200 million.
Yeah, it's a big...
If a network takes a quarter of that, that's a country. There will be drop calls. There will be issue with quality of service. So if I come in as an MVNO and I help you with the richness and the quality of service, I don't need 45 million. I need, just a million, 2 million, 3 million.
Just a fraction of that.
And then I provide the richness that I should provide for you as a telco, because you're taking revenue as well. You're making money from the radio frequency that you weren't making money from before. So what we're trying to do now is to make the telecoms operators see this as an opportunity for them to widen their reach. Because if I'm with MTN, for instance, and I don't like MTN, but if I see a new network and I like it, and remember, I'm leveraging on MTN radio frequency, all the customer wants to see is quality of service. So when you see and then you come to me, I'm still part of you. So I feel like by the time they start seeing the opportunity in it, that this is about collaboration. It's not about, taking out of your market reach. I can't. It's not possible. A customer that belongs to you, that trusts you, will stay with you.
Exactly.
So it's about collaboration. And I still hope that that's what our telecoms operators are seeing it as, not as competition.
As competition, exactly. And I love the collaboration bit. So maybe just talk to me, as a female founder, these are products you're building from scratch, right? Which is actually not easy doing that. It's not easy, even from the concept to actually ideation and all these things, to actually being where you are right now. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges you face, especially as a woman founder, as a female founder?
That's thank you for asking. So I mean, we've been in business for quite a while, almost 2 decades now.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a journey of value-added service provision to mobile aggregation, to having payment solution service license, and then. But within the space, you're still seen as, what do you know? And I was telling my colleagues the other day that what we hear is, if the men are doing, if they're taking one step, as a woman, take 3 steps so that they can then see that you're working. So as much as possible, we try to make our voice known, as we are doing right now. As much as possible, we try to do our own findings. It's not about the gender, it's about the skills.
The skills, exactly.
It's about what I have here. If you see me as an asset, then you'd better attract me.
Exactly.
So we're beginning to prove it, that we have it. We can do it. We can complement what is existing. We can even make it better. Our strength is in our emotions, is in how we see things, is in our empathy. They are not liabilities, they are assets that complement whatever it is we want to churn out. So I believe that it's better than it used to be. I also believe that the women, we are helping other women, the younger ones are seeing us. We want to be role models, we want to be able to challenge them and tell them you can do better than we have. And then, it takes one sister to pull another sister.
Exactly.
So that's the spirit.
And that's what you say, that's part of the reason why that made you join the fellowship program?
101%, yes. And more. And more, because what MIT does, the Foundry Fellowship does, is it's looking for leaders that can change the status quo and make it better. And, this week, for instance, we've learned about adaptive leadership, which is a new kind of leadership that I'm just getting into in my life. So it's 100% yes for me.
Okay. And you've been in Kenya for how many days now?
6.
60. Oh, that's quite a...
6 days.
How is Nairobi like for you, apart from for the rains?
That's a good question. The food are not spicy.
Yeah,
I'm
she's from West
Nigeria.
Africa, so Nigeria. So
The food
yeah.
are not spicy, but the coffee, I had the coffee today.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I can mention the name.
Okay, yeah. Actually, every time I travel and I meet a foreigner in the country and tell them I'm from Kenya, they're like, yeah, coffee. That's the only thing they actually
I
one of
thought
the
you guys
top
take
thing.
coffee. But I mean, I was just told today that you don't take coffee as much as we think.
Yeah.
But the coffee,
Okay. So what are some of the key insights you've gained from just this 6-day visit you've been here?
fantastic. I've been challenged, like I mentioned. I've met fantastic people. We've met ambassadors.
Oh, yeah.
We've met founders. We've met venture capitalists. Today we were at the Space Center. We've seen how innovation is being birthed into the system. We've seen how the government is also taking it. We were at the stock exchange the other day. We've seen a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's now left for us to, use what we have seen as tools that we can also, implement in our own endeavors, in our businesses. So we've learned a lot, I must say.
Have you been challenged in any way?
I have. I've been challenged by my colleagues, by the way. And also, since I came here, we've been challenged. I met a fantastic man, which his name is Vishal, here.
Okay.
So it's happened to be a YPO member as well. And he really, hit the nail on the head by telling us some tips, nuggets that we should take as leaders. So yeah.
Okay. So just looking ahead, as Africa in general, what opportunities do you see, especially for you in the MVNO space? What opportunities do you see existing or that we need to tap into?
Yeah. I think it's high time we started thinking of coverage. Yeah. And not limiting anyone. No one should be limited with access to connectivity.
Yeah.
So the earlier we connect the roaming interconnectivity across Africa, the better for us. I'm looking forward to a system where we'll have handshake easily, within the continent. From Nigeria to Kenya to Ghana, there will be quick handshakes. And innovation can be tailored. It's not going to be rigid to one country. It will be based on culture, but innovation can easily pass through. And mobile communication is the way. I tell you, without mobile communication, it's going to be limited. So the earlier we leverage on new technology, which in this case I'm saying MVNO, there are other new technologies, but new technologies, because their infrastructures are there already, the better for us.
And of course, these are the things we're hoping maybe things like the Africa Free Continental Trade will actually help achieve. But I go, if it's a slow progress, let's see what happens. But then just as we wind up, as an entrepreneur, for anyone who's looking to venture into your space, talk about what would you advise them to,
I think anyone that wants to venture in this space should first of all look at the need analysis. Why? Ask yourself why. What do I want to provide? Once you're able to define your why, then please, because the room is big enough. It's still very green. It's still very green. So I think a lot of people should come into the space, but define the why. Once you know the niche that you want to be able to cater to, then connect to me, connect to any other, and let's do it.
All right. Thank you so much, Teni. Any closing remarks?
Thank you very much for having us. This has been a very beautiful experience for me. This is my first time of meeting founders one-on-one, by the way. So it's a rare privilege to meet leaders, even like yourselves. So thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we hope to just build up and do a little follow-up to see what you're doing. And of course, how the MVNO space, especially growing in Africa and in Nigeria, actually. I know it's a very interesting market for you. But of course, it's a market, of course, actually, when you talk about innovation, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, all those countries always feature at the top. So it's a very interesting market to look, to look and just, observe and see what happens. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right.